With so much software available in the short-term rental industry these days, it's increasingly difficult to keep up to date with what's on the market and to determine whether it's a maybe or a must-have for you and your business. So meet one provider each week in a short interview, learning what they do and what they offer. So if you have around 15 minutes to spare, it could prove to be a very good investment to stick around. So let's see who and what is out there, one by one, with me, Deborah Larby, also known as the Guest Inspector.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Techsplained with the Guest Inspector. Getting word out to the public or the industry is to me one of the hardest and most time-consuming hit and miss things to do. Building an audience and finding a way to word things for the biggest impact. Sometimes it's all just plain old too hard with not a very good return on investment. But like everything out there, there are the experts, and sometimes we just need to hand things over to the experts. Today, I'm chatting with one of those experts, and today we're going to learn about how PR can help you get your word out there. Today, my guest is Jessica from Abode PR. Hello, Jessica. How are you?
I'm very well, Debbie. Really nice to see you and to be on Techsplained.
And thank you very much for joining me. I'm very keen to learn more about PR. So to start off, can you please tell me what Abode PR does in one sentence?
Yes. So Abode PR raises the profiles and installs trust in tech companies that are operating within the short-term rental ecosystem through public relations and content. That's essentially what we do. We raise profiles and we install trust.
Wow. Okay. That's not what I thought PR is. So this is a great start. So we don't usually hear about PR in this industry. So what is it exactly that you do?
So what I gave you there is one of the outcomes of PR. So PR covers a whole range of things. It's media relations, it's content creation, it's working with stakeholders, it's communicating change, it's news stories, it's features. It's essentially communicating what a company is doing through various channels. And the main channel is the media. So in today's world, it's kind of digital publications, trade media, national press, podcasts, etc. And so the doing is that we work with tech companies, and we've worked with many of the sort of the biggest well-known tech companies, as well as startups within the short-term rental space. And what we do is we work with them to develop their messages and their core stories and narratives about how they support property managers working within the space. And then we take those stories and we turn them into newsworthy opportunities or features, interviews, webinars, podcasts, speaking opportunities. We get them out there in the places that their customers are looking for information about how they can run a better business. And by having a kind of a public persona that's out there in the media, it helps to create trust, authority, influence for those companies, and they have awareness as well. So when you're working with a PR company and you're out there within, in the ecosystem on, various podcasts and news places, etc., it does a few things. It gives an awareness and an understanding of what you do and the solution that you provide for whatever pain point that might be. It also shows you as an authority within the space, and it brings better strategic relationships, customers, all sorts of other kind of benefits to a company that has a strong PR presence.
So you basically translate what a company does and gets it out there to the right people in the right language. And I like this building trust thing as well. This is all great, really great. Now,
exactly.
I know that I have seen lately that you represent some people. So do you represent the person in front of the company, and so that builds the trust for the company behind that person? Or do you also then represent the company as well?
So Abode PR, what we do is we work with brands. So we will work with the tech companies, but a lot of what we do within, or one part of what we might do as a PR strategy is raise the profile of the C-suite. So we would raise the profile of the CEO as a thought leader, insight giver, around what's happening within the industry. So we work with the brand, but and often, you know, not all companies are like this, but the CEO is often a really kind of big talking point of the brand. So we would be raising the profile of that particular individual as part of a PR strategy.
Now, you mentioned about the tech company. Sorry. Now, if I was a small to medium or a large property management company, could I still use your services, and how?
So we do predominantly work with tech companies, not property managers. However, we do work with very large property managers. You know, if they've got more than 2,000 units, we would work with them on their kind of B2B PR. So when we started with Abode PR, we did work with property managers, but actually now we've really found our sweet spot, which is working with tech companies that service the property managers. So we have to really know property managers, and we really understand their problems, challenges, what they need, because they are our customers. But we don't, unless, you know, they've got over 2,000 units. It's really, you know, for us, it's the tech companies, not the property managers.
Can you just go over where do you actually broadcast your message? What are the different media that you broadcast?
So with our clients, our customers, it really varies depending on what the strategy is for each company that we work with. So when we start working with a company, we do a whole 360 review about what their strategy is and how their PR strategy. We also have a whole content side of the business as well, but how that needs to support their business objectives, whatever they might be. And their objectives might be to move into a new market, a new geographic territory, or it might be about getting bigger, better customers, or a different sector of property manager that they're looking to talk with, or it might be about getting better strategic partnerships and making the PMSs notice them more, or whatever it might be, or it might be about funding and getting investment, or it might be about acquisition. It's around building their story, their reputations up so that they can achieve whatever that goal might be. And so it really depends on the strategy of where the stories might be placed. So it might be all the trade press, or it might be national press, business press, financial press, different kinds of podcasts. And you know, podcasts have exploded in the last year. There are, you know, literally hundreds now within the hospitality space, or it certainly feels like there's hundreds. So it really varies on what company has for its strategy, is where we might place stories that enhance our clients' reputation and enhance the understanding of what they do, as well as their kind of footprint and influence within the sector.
That's great. Quite amazing, because I just envisaged you get word out in the industry, but this is a much broader spectrum.
Absolutely. Yeah,
wow.
absolutely. We work internationally as well. We work globally. So we work depending on, you know, we've worked with clients that have had, you know, huge funding rounds, etc., and acquisitions. So it's all that stuff that we help them do. It's their bigger, broader business strategy and objectives, and through PR we're helping them to achieve those.
Incredible. That's great. Now, why would I use your product? What's my benefit?
Well, if you were a tech company that wanted to work with an agency, and we're an agency of 10, so we have 10 specialists in PR and content. If you're looking to raise your profile, make sure you get your messages out there, create some awareness in new markets, look for, you know, have a story out there that gets you in a stronger position for funding, etc., then we would be the people to speak to, because we absolutely know this ecosystem. We've worked with, you know, many tech companies that are operating here, and we know how to position you and how to do it in the right way to get the results that you would be looking for.
My next question was going to be, if you did service the smaller property managers, medium-sized companies, do you ghostwrite? If you are doing content do you ghostwrite? Is it content under your client's name, or is it always Abode?
So when we write for clients, so for instance, we might do bylines for a CEO, you know, or what's called an opinion editorial. We would get their ideas, it's their thinking, but then we write that for them, because busy CEOs, are not writers, and they don't have time usually. So our team writes that. Our content side, so we have the PR, the public relations side, and then we have the content side, which is all the inbound content. So we do blogs, white papers, reports, email, newsletters, anything that needs to be expertly led writing for a company that can also give results through, you know, organic growth to traffic, website traffic, etc. So our team writes that as well. So we do all the writing. So we do the thinking and the strategy around that, and then we also deliver it as well.
So with the content writing, do you accept the smaller companies as clients for the content writing only, the blogs?
Yes, absolutely. And the reason that we don't with the PR side is that PR is expensive. And the reason it's expensive is it's very difficult to do well. And it's also very time consuming. So that, you know, often property managers are kind of priced out of what it might be to work with an agency like us. Whereas on the content side, it is more transactional in terms of how we deliver. Like, there's a lot of thinking that goes in and strategy, but we do, you know, we might do a series of 6 blogs or something, that whatever it might be, that it can be more transactional.
Well, that's great to know. I'll keep that in mind for sure. So your target audience predominantly tech companies, the tech and the larger companies, okay, in the VR world.
So we actually work now, we've grown in the last 5 years, and we now work across, and I realize this is for guest inspector, so it isn't, but I will give you a brief overview, but we now work across 6 lodging sectors. So we work with hotel technology clients as well as multifamily. And then we're also moving into technology for other lodging verticals that match that kind of hospitality and property. And we're seeing such an overlap in the industry anyway, and it made natural sense. So we're working in co-living, also senior living, and purpose-built student accommodation. So all those kind of properties that work with property managers in order to provide a hospitality experience within a building, essentially. So we work with the technology that makes sure that the property managers can run really efficient businesses, giving the guest tenants great experience as well.
Fantastic. No wonder the growth. Good on you, Jessica. Now, also, where is your audience? Where are your clients? Is it a global audience?
So it is. When I say global, it is mostly North America, and 80% of the companies that we work with are Canada, US. However, we also work Europe, UK. You can tell by my accent that, you know, most of us are actually based in the UK, but we work globally, and we're also working in Australia and New Zealand. And then we've got plans also to work in some of the Asian countries as well. So India, Singapore, etc.
Oh, that's fantastic. I was going to ask how much does it cost, but it sounds like you have so many different services. So I imagine the price would vary, your scope of works would vary. So of course, that would affect the cost. Is there any sort of ballpark, like a blog or a big job? What sort of money we're looking at?
So it does vary, but we're, you know, a typical retained PR client would be $8,000 a month starting. So that would be a kind of a typical starting price for a PR program. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a start. And a blog? That's for me.
Well, we don't really just do a blog. We might
okay.
for you, though.
I'll speak to you later. We've come to the end of my questions, Jessica. Is there something that I've missed that you think we should share?
I think that, you know, even though we don't work directly with property managers, you know, you and I, we go back many conferences years ago, I'm really passionate about property managers and how they run their businesses and what they're doing. And it's really vital for us to know, about property managers, because it's what our customers want to know. And one of the things that because of where we're positioned, we work with all sorts of different clients. We're very agnostic around where we cover. So we know a lot about this industry because we speak with a lot of different companies, not just our clients, but we speak with property managers as well, because I make it my business to know what the changes are, what's coming up, what's important, what's interesting, what's difficult, what's not, where's the temperature on various things. So we've got the agency has an extremely good knowledge of across the ecosystem of short-term rentals, as well as, increasingly our other verticals, because we're working with lots of different companies that are providing solutions. And what we're able to do is bring that bigger picture, rather than many companies are very focused on just what they're doing in the space, without kind of looking at the broader picture of what's going on in the ecosystem.
Jessica, I can vouch for that experience, because of all the conferences I've been at where I've seen you, you're the only one there sitting frantically writing notes, and it's like, what's she writing? And it's great. I mean, you have to keep on top of things, and you do. That's great. Jessica, thank you very, very much for your time. We've come to the end of the interview. If you have any questions for Jessica, you can pop them in the comments below on the YouTube platform. Otherwise, I will put links for Abode and for Jessica. Thank you very much for your time, Jessica. It's been really great hearing what Abode does.
Thank you, Debbie, and thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jessica. Bye.